Gout Gout has just delivered a performance that defies reality, and what's just been revealed has track and field experts worldwide absolutely stunned. For years, Olympic champion Noah Lyles has dominated sprinting headlines until now. The Australian teenage phenom shocked the athletics world by clocking an astonishing 46.20 seconds in the 400 meters at Brisbane's Joanna Stone Shield meet, destroying Lyles' personal best by nearly a full second and establishing himself as the most explosive young sprinting talent since Usain Bolt. Gout Gout, Australia's 17-year-old sprint sensation, created seismic waves across the track and field landscape with his jaw-dropping 400-meter performance. Born from raw talent and explosive power, this shocking achievement revolutionized sprinting expectations by smashing Olympic champion Noah Lyles' personal best of 47.04 seconds set back in 2016, demonstrating a level of speed that has veterans of the sport comparing him directly to the legendary Jamaican 8-time gold medalist. The implications of Gout Gout's 46.20-second performance extend far beyond typical teenage athletics achievements. His coach, Di Shepherd, revealed the most stunning aspect of this record-breaking run. Today was just a time trial. He does one of these every year to test his speed endurance. This wasn't even a focused competitive effort. This was merely a training exercise for an athlete whose primary events are the shorter sprints, making the achievement exponentially more impressive. What makes Gout Gout's 400-meter destruction particularly significant is how it fits into his broader development pattern that mirrors Bolt's early career trajectory. Despite excelling at the distance, the 400 meters remains merely a training exercise rather than a competitive focus. This strategic decision echoes Bolt's own career path, as the Jamaican legend recently confessed on the Ready, Set, Go podcast. The 400 meters, I didn't care. I didn't care about nothing. The fear of the 400, bro. I just didn't want to do it. This shared aversion to the grueling one-lap event suggests Gout Gout is following the Bolt blueprint for sprint dominance. Let's see what Bolt said. Gout Gout's strategic brilliance extends far beyond single-event excellence into comprehensive sprint mastery. He has already compiled an impressive resume of times across multiple sprint distances, including a 6.98-second performance in the 60 meters, a continental under-18 best of 10.17 seconds in the 100 meters, and a national record of 20.04 seconds in the 200 meters. This versatility creates a foundation for potential world dominance across multiple events, precisely mirroring Bolt's early career versatility before he focused on the events where he would rewrite history. The specific timing of Gout Gout's breakthrough carries additional weight considering his recent Florida training camp with Lyles himself. During this experience, the teenager boldly declared his intentions to upset the American, possibly as soon as this year's World Championships in Tokyo. This declaration wasn't empty teenage bravado. It was a calculated statement from an athlete who knew exactly what he was capable of. Now, the entire sprinting world has witnessed the evidence supporting his confidence. As the record books confirm, Gout Gout's achievement stands in rarefied territory. His 46.20 performance represents the fastest under-18 time by an Australian for 35 years and sits merely just over a second behind the world's elite adult performers, with Jamaica's Zandrian Barnes holding this season's world lead at 44.97 seconds. For perspective, at the same age, reigning Olympic 400-meter champion Quincy posted 46.98, meaning Gout Gout is ahead of where the current Olympic gold medalist was at the same development stage. The importance of this performance extends beyond personal milestones into historical context. While many promising junior athletes have shown flashes of brilliance, few have displayed the combination of raw speed and potential longevity that characterized Bolt's early career and now appears evident in Gout Gout's performances. By breaking Noah Lyles' personal best in an event that isn't even his focus, Gout Gout has established himself as a legitimate threat to eventually challenge the seemingly untouchable world records Bolt established. Gout Gout's influence through this single performance extends to reshaping expectations of what's possible for teenage athletes. The comprehensive nature of his athletic profile demonstrates a completeness rarely seen, combining exceptional starting ability, acceleration, top-end speed, and speed endurance into a package that makes him a threat at virtually any sprint distance. This versatility provides his coaches with multiple pathways for his development as his career progresses. Even more impressive than the time itself is that Gout Gout achieved it as part of his normal training regimen. His coach revealed this wasn't a one-off focus on the 400 meters, but rather an annual evaluation of his speed endurance capabilities. This standardized approach to athletic development suggests a well-structured, long-term vision for his career that prioritizes sustainable progress over immediate results, another similarity to Bolt's carefully managed rise to dominance. The upcoming racing schedule will provide further evidence of Gout Gout's true potential. Fans can witness his continued development at the Queensland titles in mid-March, ahead of the Maury Plant meet in Melbourne on March the 29th. In April, he will contest the Australian Championships in Perth and the storied Stawell Gift Handicap Race. Each of these competitions represents another opportunity to gauge whether he truly represents the next generation of sprinting excellence. For those who truly understand track and field's competitive hierarchy, Gout Gout's 400-meter performance represents far more than statistical excellence. It symbolizes the emergence of a potentially generational talent capable of redefining sprinting expectations. As Bolt's world records of 9.58 seconds in the 100 meters and 19.19 seconds in the 200 meters have stood unchallenged for over a decade, Gout Gout's early performances suggest he might be the athlete to eventually threaten those marks. The broader context of Gout Gout's December achievements adds further credibility to his 400-meter breakthrough. As a 16-year-old, Gout broke the men's national 200-meter record when he ran 20.04 at the Australian All-Schools Championships. At the same meet, he harnessed an illegal tailwind to clock a world-class 10.04 in the 100 meters. These performances across multiple distances confirm his 400-meter brilliance wasn't an isolated achievement, but part of a comprehensive athletic profile, rarely seen in athletes so young. As the athletics world processes Gout Gout's 400-meter masterpiece, attention inevitably turns to his future trajectory. From breaking Lyles' personal best in a casual time trial to directly challenging for world championships, Gout Gout's development appears to be accelerating at an unprecedented rate. The question now shifts from whether he can compete with the world's best to whether he might eventually surpass them all, just as a young Jamaican named Usain Bolt once did after showing similar versatility across sprinting distances.
Potomac, Maryland, this is Quincy Wilson.
What can we not say about this youngster? He runs with the maturity of someone a decade older than him.
How fast would a 17-year-old have to run to break records, stun Olympic coaches, and make the world stop and watch? Quincy Wilson didn't just answer that question. He shattered every expectation in his path. What he did on the track left even veteran athletes speechless, and it might just change the sport forever. At just 17 years old, Quincy Wilson has already shaken the very foundation of track and field. In an age where most teens are navigating high school drama and homework, this kid is rewriting history with every blistering step on the track. From humble beginnings to global headlines, Wilson's rise is as electrifying as his record-breaking sprints. Quincy Wilson's journey began in Chesapeake, Virginia. Recognizing his talent early, his parents, Monique and Roy Wilson, made a game-changing move, relocating to Gaithersburg, Maryland so he could attend the elite Bullies School in Potomac. Bullis isn't just any high school. Known for its powerhouse track program, it became Quincy's launching pad. Surrounded by top-tier coaching and fierce competition, he flourished. Every practice, every race was another step toward making history. By age 14, Quincy wasn't just participating, he was dominating. He racked up his 5th AAU Junior Olympic title in the 400 meters with a scorching time of 47.77 seconds. For context, that's faster than many collegiate athletes. His early performances hinted at something special, but even his coaches couldn't predict just how far he'd go. As his times dropped, the hype surged. Track insiders whispered his name as the next big thing. He wasn't just racing other teens, he was chasing records. And with every finish line he crossed, his story became more and more surreal. If 2023 was the year Quincy got noticed, 2024 was when he exploded into the spotlight. In March, he obliterated the under-18 indoor world best in the 400 meters, clocking a jaw-dropping 45.76 seconds. That time didn't just make headlines, it made history. And then came Gainesville.
To stay calm under pressure. Talking to him right before he qualified for the Olympics, he talked about missing a little bit of training because his sister was in the hospital.
In July, Wilson lined up for the 400 meters again, this time on the outdoor track. The result? An earth-shattering 44.20 seconds. That wasn't just the best time for someone his age, it was one of the fastest ever run by anyone in the world that year. The track community went wild. Social media lit up. Suddenly, a high schooler from Maryland was on the radar of every sports outlet across the globe. Even seasoned professionals were stunned. Coaches, analysts, and Olympic legends began dissecting his form, his pacing, his stride length. What they saw was a rare combination of raw talent and polished technique, something usually seen only in elite adults at the peak of their careers. Despite a strong showing, Quincy finished 6th at the U.S. Olympic trials in the 400 meter. That might have ended the Olympic dream for most, but Team USA had other plans. Recognizing his talent and potential, they selected him for the men's 4x400 meter relay team heading to Paris. That decision made Quincy the youngest male track athlete ever to represent the U.S. at the Olympics. He would go on to help the American 4x400 meter relay squad earn gold at the Stade de France, competing in the heats ahead of the event's final. He wasn't just tagging along for the ride. Quincy earned his place. His training sessions leading up to the Olympics were intense. His coaches pushed him, not because he was a kid with potential, but because he was now seen as a critical asset to the team. Quincy didn't flinch. He rose to the challenge. At the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris, Quincy lined up for the preliminary heat of the 4x400 meter relay. The stakes were sky high, and all eyes were on the teenage phenom. As the opening leg runner, Quincy set the tone for the team. Though he faced stiff competition and early nerves, he held his ground and helped secure a spot in the final.
What a finish from the 16-year-old! So he's going to have to rely on time. Right now, he is the top of the bubble and looking very good for a chance in the final.
Bryce Stedman gets the win over Vernon Norwood. Woo! The crowd know what they just saw.
And that's because that's...
Though he didn't run in the final itself, Olympic rules ensure that any athlete who participates in the heats gets a medal if their team wins. And that's exactly what happened. Team USA took gold in the final, and just like that, Quincy Wilson became the youngest male Olympic gold medalist in track and field history.
Team Quincy Wilson had a very different goal. And today he became the youngest male track competitor in U.S.
The moment was surreal. Standing on the Olympic stage, even in the background, was more than a dream. It was a statement. Quincy had arrived, and the world was officially on notice. What sets Quincy apart isn't just his times, it's his mindset. He's remarkably poised for his age, with a calm confidence that's rare in elite sports. Off the track, he's grounded, articulate, and thoughtful. On it, he's a beast. No gold medal. None of that is on my mind, he said. When I'm practicing, I'm worrying about my future goals, nothing in the past. I can't go and change what I've done. After his Olympic run, he quickly became a media sensation. Viral interviews, highlight reels, and social media shout-outs from A-list celebrities flooded in. Jay-Z even reached out to meet him. For a teenager, this could be overwhelming. But Quincy stayed focused, always turning the spotlight back on his team, his coaches, and the support system that got him here. He's also started mentoring younger athletes, kids not much younger than himself. He shows up to youth clinics, answers DMs from aspiring runners, and talks openly about the pressures of competing at a high level. Quincy isn't just breaking records. He's breaking down barriers and building a community. With high school still on his plate, Quincy's balancing AP classes and global fame, but his goals are crystal clear. He's got his eyes set on more than just track glory. He wants to be remembered not only as a champion, but as someone who inspired the next generation of athletes. College recruiters are knocking, sponsorship offers are rolling in, and the world is watching. But Quincy's not slowing down. He's already training for the next big milestone, aiming to compete individually at the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. If history is any guide, he won't just be there, he'll be a favorite. And yet, despite everything, Quincy remains remarkably humble. He still calls his parents before every race, still does his own laundry, still reminds people he's just a kid who loves to run. That grounded spirit might be his most powerful trait. What makes Quincy's story so compelling isn't just the medals or the records, it's the heart behind the hustle. He trains with humility, competes with passion, and lives with purpose. In a world often obsessed with overnight fame, Quincy's rise is a powerful reminder that real greatness comes from dedication and grit. He's not just inspiring young athletes, he's redefining what's possible at every age. Quincy Wilson destroyed the 400 meters, not just with his speed, but with his story. From a determined kid in Virginia to an Olympic gold medalist before his 18th birthday, he's living proof that age is just a number and limits are meant to be broken. Keep your eyes on Quincy Wilson, because if you think he's done making history, think again. This 17-year-old is just getting started. If stories like this blow your mind, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got even more unbelievable athlete stories coming your way. No one expected a high school junior to break one of the fastest records in U.S. track history, but when the clock stopped, the entire stadium was in shock. How did a 17-year-old run a time that even Olympians struggle to reach? A 17-year-old just ran 9.92 seconds in the 100-meter dash, and that single race changed everything we thought we knew about high school sprinting. For decades, breaking 10 seconds in the 100 meters was considered the ultimate barrier for junior athletes. It was rare, almost mythical. In 2014, Trayvon Brommel, as a college freshman, became one of the first U20 sprinters to break the 10-second barrier, running 9.97 at the NCAA championships. That mark stood not just as a record, but as a symbol of what was barely achievable at that age. Until recently, only a handful of juniors had ever dipped below 10 seconds, and none had done it in high school competition.
Whereas Christian Coleman is coming to the front and Brommel is trying to hold him off, and Brommel comes away again. It's going to be Brommel who's getting it from Carly, 9.93.
But in April 2024, Christian Miller shook up the sprinting world when he ran 9.93, breaking the national high school record and becoming the face of the new era of young speedsters. That record felt untouchable. It was fast, clean, and set against world-class competition at the Olympic trials. Everyone thought it would stand for years, maybe even a generation.
That went 993.
Then came May 3rd, 2025. At the UIL Class 6A State Championships in Austin, Texas, the track world witnessed something truly extraordinary. Tate Taylor, a junior from Harlan High School, lined up against one of the most stacked fields in high school history. One of the early favorites, Braden Williams, had already run an extremely fast wind-dated time, faster than any high schooler ever under those conditions.
There's a wind legal 992 by Tate Taylor.
And yet, when the race started, it was Taylor who stole the show. Exploding out of the blocks with perfect form and unshakable focus, he surged ahead and never looked back. When he crossed the line, the clock read 9.92 seconds. Legal wind, national record, and second fastest U20 time in world history.
Here comes Tate Taylor. They're neck and neck. There goes Tate Taylor. I told you Tate Taylor was one that can.
Just like that, Christian Miller's historic 9.93 was no longer the standard. Tate Taylor had redefined it. But what makes this even more shocking is the trajectory that brought Taylor to this moment. In 2023, as a freshman, his best 100-meter time was 10.59. Solid, but far from historic. The next year, he dropped it to 10.28 and finished runner-up at state. Most athletes would be thrilled with that kind of progress. But Taylor wasn't done. In 2025, everything came together. His training intensified, his confidence matured, and the results, unthinkable. His 9.92 wasn't just a PR, it was a milestone, the second fastest time by any junior in history, behind only Botswana's Letsile Tebogo, who ran 9.91 and went on to win Olympic gold. It was also one of the fastest 100-meter times in the world so far this year, especially among juniors. That alone would have been enough to seal his name in history. But Taylor wasn't finished. Just hours after his jaw-dropping 100 meters, he stepped back on the track for the 200-meter final. You'd think fatigue would slow him down. Not even close. He clocked an unreal 20.14 seconds, smashing the Texas state meet record and landing third all-time on the U.S. high school list. Only legends like Noah Lyles and Roy Martin have run faster in high school.
And that, watch the clock, folks.
This is going to be, did he ease?
I don't know. They didn't stop the clock, unfortunately, so we can't gawk at it right now.
I mean, we're looking at it across the field. If he eased, he might not have, but
20.14.
And here's the kicker. Taylor still has another year of high school left. That 200-meter time was just 0.01 off Roy Martin's long-standing record of 20.13. And when you factor in his indoor season earlier this year, the picture gets even clearer. At the Nike Indoor Nationals in March, Taylor ran 20.46, breaking the national indoor high school record for the 200. That record was previously held by Jaden Slade, who ran 20.62 in 2021.